Anji Hallewell from the Natural Genius Academy. I am a professional speaker, I am a coach and trainer in self-mastery for career success. I've been inspired on a bigger mission that I'm on to interview some inspiring women throughout International Women's Day for March, so that it can ignite some positive change in those that want to make changes in their life in a positive way. And today I am with Leza, and she is the CEO of Spendless Group, which is a technology company across more than 17 companies. And as if that is not enough for her to spend her time, she also has 3 children. Yes, you heard that right, she has 3 children. And she's also a speaker who is in demand on the university and the global conference circuit. So we're very excited to have her here today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
So I'm really excited to speak with you today because I know that you have a very inspirational story, and it's going to really inspire people in the audience to hear that. Because it can just take a little something, a little sort of nugget for us to latch onto, and then it just ignites something in a positive way for us to do something bigger than what we're doing today.
Exactly.
And that's what I really want the focus of our conversation to be today.
That's great. I'm looking forward.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Good question. So the thing is, I come from a very unexpected background. So I started as a stay-at-home mother for 7 years before I decided to actually eventually start a business for the purpose of earning side income. When I was 27, I started very simple businesses from home, and eventually, all the small successes and progression each day, each time I make a couple more $100 here and there, it ignited a spark in me to become a businesswoman. So I spent time studying about business, doing my own case studies and concepts, and eventually grow my companies, taking investment, and today I'm the CEO of a tech firm. So we're also active angel investors. So we actively invest and incubate businesses in the tech firm, as well as any other companies that add values to our ecosystem. Additionally, I'm quite passionate in educating the young leaders because I believe that it is our role as corporate executive today to ensure that the future is being run by capable leaders.
Yes.
So therefore, I spend a lot of time with the university trying to also recently set up an educational platform so that the future generation can learn from what we already know today.
Yes.
So that's in a nutshell about what I do.
Nice, nice. And I'm always so curious to know, because behind every successful person, they don't just simply do it for the sake of doing it. There is something that drives them at their core. There is a bigger reason, there's a mission, there's a vision that they have. So what is it for you?
So for my case, I started from an unfortunate situation where I became a single mother and I struggle with finances. And I know I'm not the only person who has this kind of issue. And when I figured out a way to earn an extra income, my mission changed from actually earning a side income to actually making it possible for everybody else. So to me, the mission, if I could summarize it, is basically to make women or individuals from the low-income families especially to be empowered, and the best gift I could give them is being self-independent. And that's why the company has been driving towards that mission, getting more and more people being financially independent, because we believe when people do earn their own money, through our support especially, they are able to build confidence in themselves.
Yes.
And what becomes a social problem before no longer is. They become more confident and they raise happy household and happy children. And that's the larger mission about everything else that we do. Technology is great, revenue is great, having a team is great, but more importantly, if all of us don't come together and uphold this mission, then everything will fail in time. I believe every business, if you give meaningful value to somebody else's lives, that business is long and sustainable.
Nice, yes, yes. And when you've been in that situation yourself, it really comes from the heart, because you know what it's like to have been in that place.
Exactly.
You've been in a situation where many watching may also be in a similar situation, and it's inspiring for them to have a little bit of hope that there's a way out of that, because they can see that someone else has done it.
Exactly. I think hope is a very strong word,
Yes.
but it's something everybody needs to get through difficult days.
Yes.
And the thing is, people lose hope is because they feel nobody else has their own life and don't understand the position they are. So being exposed and sharing with people from my background, being a single mom and not having enough money, it could be relatable to a community of people who need this hope so that they positively parent tomorrow, and as well as build their own careers in time.
Yes. Now, you shared earlier that, of course, life wasn't always how it is today. There is a backstory there and some adversity that you had to overcome yourself. Could you share a little bit more about that?
My story as well, I don't know how to say it, but it has been quite unfortunate in the really beginning, because sometimes people assume that when somebody is successful, everything's been going right for that person. And that's what I wanted to tell the people, that if we are successful because we make good decisions, it's because we had bad ones done in the past. That's why we had to learn from it. But situation-wise, when I was 21, I lost my first son to stillbirth, and that is one of the lowest and darkest days in my life. And if you think about the reasons why anybody would be depressed or lose hope to even continue life, this, I can tell you, is one of the reasons. And in fact, it is even heavier load compared to failing in a business. And subsequently, when I eventually picked all the pieces together, and it takes time to heal, and time passes because I get older as well. That's why I started business really late. I was focusing on juggling motherhood, and motherhood is not easy as well. That role being integrated to making sure that you become a better parent is challenging in its own form. So I also highly respect people who went on to motherhood or stay-home mother, because it's not easy. And while I struggle with that, I also build a business. Although it turns out to be pretty well, in the beginning, about 4 years ago, I entered bankruptcy. Just because I felt that the reason behind it was my leadership wasn't at a level that's expected, and therefore I wasn't able to lead my human resources as well as I did with the investments I lost. So along those things, picking up the courage again, every time life pulls you 5 steps forward while you're struggling to get 2 steps ahead, that is really a mental challenge for a human being. But I always tell myself, time will pass anyway. So it's either you buck up, you change, you improve, or you stay where you are while everybody else is advancing around you. So the choice is yours.
Yes, it's a really prominent point that you made there about successful people.
Yeah.
Is that things don't go 100% right all the time. Sure, there might be some lucky things that have happened, or some smart decisions and opportunities that have come their way, but there are a whole other range of things that haven't gone so well, but it's about how you deal with them, rather than everything being perfect.
Yes.
So it's very inspiring to hear that not only is someone at the top of a tech company is female as a CEO, is also a mother, but has also overcome some great feats of adversity. Because it really is a test of inner strength when you step out and play a bigger game.
You're right. Actually, I always tell people ask me, have you ever thought of quitting? And I said, all the time. I'm not lying to you. I always thought of quitting. But then at the end of the day, when something happens, something motivates me, I see an impact on one person because of what I do, I tell myself just one more day and see how tomorrow goes.
Yes. We all need, it goes back to that hope. We all need this sort of light at the end of the tunnel as to why we're doing it.
Yes.
And that's what it is for you, right?
Yes,
what
exactly.
it is for you. So talking about healthy minds and staying strong, what kind of habits or mottos or practices have you integrated into your life to keep you in a strong frame of mind, so you can continue to impact in the way that you have been and not quit?
And not quit, and try not to quit. I believe that healthy habits is very important. When we talk about keeping yourself healthy, it doesn't have to be similar to the norm. That's what people need to do. For me, I identify firstly the time of the day that I'm the most productive, so I don't lose that time giving on things that is not going to earn me any benefit. So identifying the most productive time, having a good sleep of 8 hours is compulsory for me. And even if I couldn't do that night 8 hours of sleep, I try to make it up by taking naps in the afternoon or late evening, just so I do have, my body has a good amount of rest.
Yes.
And a lot of people, they overwork themselves, but they didn't consider that when you keep yourself healthy with sleep, good food, exercise, actually you keep your frame of mind at the best capability. That means every time you need to make a decision, last minute, some hiccup, you made it at the state of mind where you are thinking the best, because your body is at its best. So when you invest in health, it's something that it should be mandatory for any corporate professionals to take priority before business. The other thing, in terms of mentality, I always tell myself that a lot of things that doesn't go your way, you just have to be patient and see what comes at the end of it, because sometimes the blessing comes in disguise. And a lot of times my plan never worked out. I tell people, we've been planning for days, and I tell you it turned out completely different. But just holding on to what, accepting it, making the best out of it. Give it a little bit more time. In a couple of days or weeks, you actually see the significance of that change and why it is necessary, why, spiritually speaking, why the universe made it in a different way. So, and then in the end, you turn out that's not so bad. So the next time your plan don't work out, you don't look at it and say I failed. You look at it saying what else is coming from this result, and then from there, what can I do the best for my business? So these two mindset is very important. Taking care of your body and your mind is a powerful driver, so fuel it with positivity, and with the right mindset, you scale any adversity.
Yes. So it sounds like you've had a few teachers that have come and gone in your life for you to, I guess, have this, mindset that you're talking about here. Who are some of the more influential people that have been in your life, and why?
I would want to say their name, but the thing is, they didn't know that they're influential to me. See, it happens.
A secret influencer.
So they didn't know they influenced me. So they didn't know I was doing better because of them. Okay, so they basically, these people, what I wanted to say was these people could be random people I meet on a daily basis. There will be times, Angie, I'm so surprised that one person on one random day in one random conversation changed the way I think, which makes me apply my business concept and change my entire revenue. And this person may or may not be a person I meet again. It may not be somebody who has a long-term friendship with me. And for many reasons, we're in two different industries, we may never find the need to reconnect. But that's why I believe strongly that as long as our mind is open to learning, the people who could influence us is almost everybody. It's just about our acceptance, whether we can be open to accept different kind of knowledge. And experiences sharing is the best, because whatever you want to find, you can read in books. But it's a different context when you put it into somebody else's experience and learn from them. All of us going through different things every day have the opportunity to share experience, pass on wisdom, as well as pass on values. And that's the thing you don't get in books or in universities. So being open, talk to people when you do networking, ask them a question about their experience, take it away with you, personalize it in what you do, and that's how they can influence you indirectly. And you never know, you're doing it to someone else as well. So it's a circle. So not just taking in information, but you go on to pass it forward.
Yes, it's a very nice point that you've touched on there. And it reminds me of a conversation that I had at a networking event, and it was just a passing person. And as we were at a networking event, I guess we were talking about networking. And he was saying that I always like to give something of value. I always ask what people need at the moment to see if I can connect them to somebody. So he came from a place of giving rather than here's my business card, this is what I do. And that really changed the way that I saw building relationships, networking, and how you can actually really connect to people and build that wider support that you need. Because as an entrepreneur, or just anyone who wants to get ahead in life, it's about the people that are underpinning you and lifting you up along the way that you have around you, rather than trying to do it on your own. That's a difficult place to be.
Yes, exactly.
So the value giving in any relationship, however short-lived it is, that really resonated with me when you shared that.
Thank you.
So, Leza, you know that I believe that everybody is a natural genius. And what I mean by that is that we all have our unique talents and our unique gifts that really resonate with us at our core level, that we're just destined to share with the world and be in service in using those talents. So for me, it's transformation. What is it for you? What is your natural genius?
I find that one of the skills that I highly value of myself, and which of course I've benefited as well, is the fact that I feel that I'm a master of my own communication skills. So I'm not saying that I'm probably the best communicator, but this skill works for me in the way I have concepted it for myself. And I find that communication is one of the essential tools, because when you're able to communicate right in a short period of time, people get the message. Your message gets conveyed effectively, and therefore it opens opportunity for people who's ready to give you opportunities. And that's one of the things people should brush up in their skills. But what I wanted to emphasize is, apart from communicating with people, always focus not about selling, and like you said just now, not about selling, not about asking something in return. The fact that you have this skill, I have the skill to communicate well, The question is, what should I communicate? And I told myself, I rather communicate from a personal humanity perspective of my own character. And that's how I could win people, influence them to be better human beings, and provoke their thoughts to improve their character for their own good.
Yes.
And because of that, that's why people stay on. Not because Leza tells us everything every day, but because the content of what I'm able to communicate inspire them to become better themselves, even if it's not benefiting me in any monetary way.
Yes.
And that's the achievement that I have, to be able to inspire people through my skill that I believe are good in communicating, and change them for themselves.
Yes. There's something that we share here about wanting to make people a better version of themselves.
Yes.
There's something very selfless in that.
Yes.
Because it's not for us.
Yes.
It's for them.
Exactly.
And
So
we
they
just know,
benefit
right?
of what we know. Yes.
Yes.
I believe that when you build relationship on the right ground, which means you're giving value and making them appreciate your existence because their life changed because of you, that impact itself will automatically open business transactions in the future. When you expect business transaction in the first place, when you
Yes.
connect in a networking environment, you're never going to get it.
Yes.
Okay, but if you tap it differently, giving value, being available in case people need services, and sharing them your real vulnerable experiences that change and make them change the way they are. When people wake up and develop their character to be a better person, they feel good about themselves, but they will never forget who made them change.
Yes.
And they'll come and find you and see, is there anything I can offer you now in
Yes.
return?
Yes.
So that's how business should work.
Yes, lovely, I like that. So just finally, what I would like to, I think what would be useful for the viewers actually is that there are going to be people watching this that are kind of thinking, oh, I want to step out on my own as an entrepreneur, or be inspired to be a mompreneur after listening to you today, but there's a bit of self-doubt or lack of confidence or hesitation to actually do it and take that first step. What would you say to anyone that was in that space and watching today?
What I would like to them is, I was once that person. That is for sure. There's no way that I start business at 27 after being home and talking to toddlers for 7 years, I was going to make it. I had so much disbelief in myself that I wasn't even sure whether I actually want to move forward with the business. I thought I earn small businesses, I'm happy. But actually, I realized that when you don't know something and you avoid it completely, you'll never find out. Okay, but if you put yourself through that challenge, that struggle, only to overcome it later on because of how bad you want that business, you realize that it makes you stronger in time.
Yes.
The more you expose yourself to difficult problems, the next time you solve it, it won't be a problem anymore. So my confidence level didn't build up because I picked it, from anywhere else. It built up because I went through the trouble of finding out myself whether this is for me or not. And even after they try out and they do a business and 6 months they go, you know what, Leza, this is still not for me. But at least you've tried, you know it. But then you'll be surprised that most of the times people mindset change the more you delve inside. And as well, another thing I wanted to let you know, that people who first started out are fragile emotionally, physically. It's so new to them. Okay, a new venture means that there's a lot of adjustment they need to do in their personal life in order to thrive in their professional life. So hence, because of that, I want people to start to be bold and cut off negativity in their circle, because negativity actually diminish ideas from the beginning. The early stage is the most important. And as mothers, first trimester is the most important. Okay, you screw that stage, you pay the results later. It's the same thing with business. In the beginning, when you first started out, is when you are at the most fragile state, the most highly influential, the most vulnerable, the most naive. So this is when you have to be the most selective who stays in your circle. If you allow people to feed you negativity and you absorb it on a daily basis, you won't run your business more than 3 months. And it's because of them. And whatever reason, they don't want you to chase that dream. So for me, be bold in the beginning. Later on, you can be more flexible because you can take negativity better. Once you hit a certain level of achievement, you care less about what people think. It's natural. You care less if people say, Leza, your idea is a stupid idea. And I'm like, okay, thank you for your opinion. And you move on and you build it anyway. So, but to get to that stage in the beginning, protect yourself. And that is a very, very crucial advice they must give. Most people think when they start a business, my friends, my family is my biggest supporter. But when the family tells them you're wasting your time, they believe it. Okay, when you start believing other people, then there's no way you can be the leader of your own idea. Because you have to have your own principle and stand up for it no matter what.
It's the first time I've heard business and pregnancy in the same analogy. It works though, right?
The
It
analogy
works.
makes. I
Yeah.
personally feel even, I think motherhood a lot, Angie, it teaches me a lot about business. Example, one of the lessons when I was giving a TEDx talk recently, and I said at home when we handle children, it's not the same parenting, believe it or not. Okay, some rules are the same, but every child is individualized. So the pathway to their success, one may be interested in music, one art, one in academics. So you need to configure their pathway so differently, opportunities, because you want to make them, thrive in their strength and not penalize so much for their mistakes. It's okay if the second child don't play piano. It's okay. So when I go to work, I realize it's the same thing for employees as well. There's no one rule fits all. And I look back and I see, how is it that I can manage my people so well? And I realize it's because 7 years of motherhood has taught me something. It wasn't a waste of time. It taught me something.
Nice. Well, look, thank you, Leza. Thank you for coming to talk to me today. It's been a really lovely conversation.
Thank you for having me here. It's my pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. So thank you also for tuning in, for watching. If you would like to know a little bit more about how you can step out, how you can supercharge your success, then do check out the link in this video to see how you can do that. Also, I'll be doing more of these interviews, so do tune in next time, and I look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye for now.
See you again.